Hello, welcome back to the channel where today I will be doing my Matchweek 14 SPFL Premiership predictions. Sorry that it is on my phone. The internet is currently down in this household, so I cannot do it on my iPad, so I will be doing it on my phone. So apologies if you cannot hear me. I will try my very, very best and get it out to you all. The international break is finally over, and also we now have match week 14 to look forward to, and some pretty good games. I must also say that Hibs and St Mirren are playing twice this week. Reason being that Hibs were in the semi-final, so obviously that game from match week 12 is now in this game week. So yeah, so obviously Hibs playing their game in hand against St Mirren at St Mirren Park, and it should be interesting. It should be an interesting game. But the fixtures we have are as follows: we have Celtic against Livingston, Hibernian against Motherwell, Kilmarnock against Hearts, St Mirren against Ross County, Hamilton against Rangers, St Johnstone against Aberdeen, and St Mirren against Hibs. So 7 fixtures to preview and predict this week. So the first game of the weekend is Celtic against Livingston, and the last 5 between Celtic and Livingston have resulted in 2 wins to Celtic, 2 draws, and 1 win to Livingston. And the last meeting at Celtic Park was a 0-0 draw. And can anyone remember the last meeting between Livingston and Celtic? Oh yeah, Livingston got their first victory over the champions. That was a momentous day indeed. Celtic, obviously, since that defeat to Livingston, they have been on absolute fire. Beating Lazio to go through to the next round of the Europa League. Continually winning 2-0 against Motherwell the last time out. And you know, not many teams go to Celtic Park and get anything, and obviously they are unbeaten there this season, and probably will be this weekend as well. But Celtic are playing absolutely fantastic. Obviously, Ryan Christie's in very good form for club and country. James Forrest is very good in good form as well. Odsonne Edwards as well. They've got a really good squad, Celtic, and going to be a very, very tricky test for Livingston to get anything out of the game, but shall be very interesting to see in that one. Livingston, obviously, coming off the back of a 2-1 defeat, and it has to be said that it was coming. It's not been a very good run for Livingston, it has to be said. But you have to say, 2-0 against Rangers. Sorry, that was the last game that they played. Obviously, they lost 2-0 against Rangers, and in my opinion, they were well and truly beaten. There's no doubt about it. Well and truly beaten. Didn't play very, very well. And it has to be said that they probably deserved to lose against Rangers. But a few pluses this weekend. Obviously, Mateusz Sarkic made his Montenegro debut against Belarus. They won 2-0 and he kept a clean sheet. So a very good start to his international career. Steve Lawson's played for Togo as well. So Livingston looking very, very good sort of on that front. Lots of rumours about Lyndon Dykes. Apparently Cardiff City, Swansea City, Derby County, Hull City, Bristol City, and there was one other one, Middlesbrough, are all after Lyndon Dykes in January. So it'll be interesting. Obviously, Lee Miller has gone to Falkirk. So Livingston are a wee bit light up front at this present moment in time. So obviously they're going to Celtic Park. Celtic have not scored in the last 3 meetings with Livingston. Obviously with a 0-0 draw, 0-0 last season at the Tony Macaroni, and then obviously Livingston winning the last meeting 2-0. So Celtic will want to score against Livingston. Unfortunately, I just cannot see anything other than a Celtic win. I think it's going to be a Celtic win, pretty comfortable here. Celtic 2, Livingston 0. But yeah, I can see Celtic winning that one for sure. But unfortunately, it is going to be a Celtic win. I'm going for Celtic 2, Livingston 0. Hibernian against Motherwell now, and the last 5 between Hibs and Motherwell have resulted in 3 wins to Hibs and 2 wins to Motherwell, and the last result was a 2-0 win to Hibernian. Obviously, Hibs will be managed by Jack Ross. This is his first game in charge. Be interesting to see how he lines up. Because obviously in the last game they won 4-1 away to St Johnstone, and Christian Doidge got a hat trick. So obviously he managed to put a few haters in the away. But it has to be said though, Hibs played really well that day, and it'll be interesting. To see. Obviously, more news on Hibs is Adam Bogdan is continually training with Hibs at the moment, so I'm not sure if he's going to be signing. But does that mean the end of Alfio Marciano? Do you think that means he could be on his way back to Israel? That is another matter that will be obviously dealt with. But yeah, Hibs obviously coming in front of the back of their home fans, and I'm sure Jack Ross will get a good reception. I'm pretty sure he will. And shall be very interesting to see how that one will develop. Motherwell obviously coming off the back of a 2-0 defeat to Celtic, and in all honesty, they'll be glad to get that one out of the way. Like I've said, trips to Celtic Park, you can kind of give that's one game you probably wouldn't expect to get anything from. So, obviously, Hibs playing Motherwell, and there's not much between these sides. Obviously, 3 wins to Hibs and 2 wins to Motherwell. Not been a draw in a wee way well. I think Jack Ross will get the dream start? Yes, I do. I do think Jack Ross will get the dream start. I have a feeling that Hibs will win this one. They will be determined to play very well for their new manager. And there's places up for grabs for sure. There is definitely places up for grabs. So I'm going for Hibs 2, Motherwell 1. But it'll be very interesting to see how they do in this one. But for me, Hibs will win this one by 2-1. Kilmarnock against Hearts now, and the last 5 between the sides have resulted in 3 wins to Kilmarnock and 2 wins to Hearts, and the last meeting was a 2-1 win to the Jambos. Kilmarnock obviously coming off the back of a 2-2 with Hamilton last time out, and has to be said that they probably could have won the game in the end. Obviously Hamilton were down to 10 men and for a long time in that game, and Kilmarnock really did dig in and obviously got the 2-2, cracking goals in that game as well. So so obviously they're coming back in front of their home fans, and they'll be determined to get a good result. But they're coming against the Hearts side, who are really rampant at the moment. 5-2 against St Mirren, but still question marks over the management here. Who's going to be the manager? If Austin McPhee wins, does that mean he gets the Hearts manager's job? Probably not, but it's another thing to say that he probably will. But he's been continually linked with Stoke City, and you can quite understand it, because obviously with him being Michael O'Neill's assistant at Northern Ireland, you can kind of expect that he will be being linked with Stoke. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that one will develop. So obviously Kilmarnock Hearts. Hearts are playing really well at the moment. 5-2 against St Mirren. Kilmarnock getting a 2-2 with Hamilton. International breaks, they can either make your team win or they can derail your momentum. I have a feeling Hearts are going to get 2 wins out of 2 here. Might be bonkers, but I just have a feeling that Hearts will be definitely out to impress Austin McPhee. He's done really well actually in caretaker charge. I hadn't realised every game he's caretaker he's done really well. So obviously apart from the Rangers game, of course. So I'm going for an away win here. Surprisingly enough, I'm going for an away win. I just think Hearts are determined to impress, and I'm going for a 2-1 win to the Jambos. So I'm expecting both Edinburgh teams to win this weekend, which would be very, very interesting. So we'll see for that one. St Mirren against Ross County now, and the last 5 between the sides have resulted in 2 wins to St Mirren, 2 wins to Ross County, and 1 draw. And the last meeting was a 3-0 win to Ross County. So very, very interesting. St Mirren obviously coming off the back of a 5-2 defeat to Hearts. Did very, very well in the game. Obviously got 2 goals, but defensively, absolute shambles. Really, really poor at the moment, and it's going to be interesting to see how that will affect them. Um, Ross County, obviously coming off the back of a 3-1 defeat to Aberdeen. And, that's another game they can say that they were unlucky in because obviously 1-1 up. They had the goal disallowed as well, so they could have got a draw there. But I think this is more a fixture that this is going to be an interesting game because both of these sides are really struggling at the moment. And at this moment in time, I just have a feeling Ross County will win this. I've got a feeling that Ross County will win this. Could be a 0-0 draw. Could be. We'll see. But for me, I think Ross County will win this one. I'm going for St Mirren 0, Ross County 2. So it'll be very, very interesting that game. But I'm going for St Mirren 0, Ross County 2. Now that is the Saturday games done and dusted, and there's 2 games on Sunday, which is quite interesting. And the first of those is Hamilton against Rangers, and no questions about this. The last 5 meetings, Rangers have won all 5 meetings, and the last game was a 5-0 win to Rangers. Rangers in absolutely fire at the moment. Obviously, the Rangers coming to the back a 2-0 win against Livingston. Joe Rebo, absolutely outstanding on the day. Borna Barisic, Alfredo Morelos seems to be doing it for club and country as well. Excellent. They're on absolute fire, Rangers, at the moment, and I probably expect the same. Obviously, they beat Hamilton 5-0 at Ibrox. Is it likely to be the 3rd straight 5-0 win for them against Hamilton? Hamilton do not like playing Rangers. Obviously, Hamilton coming off the back of a 2-2 with Kilmarnock, and obviously getting the 2 goals, but obviously going down to 10 men for a long, long time in that game, and they could have at least grabbed a point. Well, obviously they did grab a point, but could have grabbed all 3. In all fairness, yeah, to be 2-0 up and then obviously not see it out was very, very disappointing in their aspect. But has to be said, this is a game that they can just write off, in my opinion. I just cannot see anything other than a Rangers win. Rangers are absolutely rampant at the moment, and they've scored 10 goals in the last 2 meetings against Hamilton. Make that 15 in the last 3. I think Rangers are going to go crazy here. I'm going for Hamilton 0, Rangers 5. Yes, Rangers to beat Hamilton by 5-0. So we'll see what happens with that one. And the second Sunday game is St Johnstone against Aberdeen. And the last 5 between these two have resulted in 1 win to St Johnstone, 2 draws and 2 wins to Aberdeen. And the last game was a 2-0 win to Aberdeen. St Johnstone, what happened to them against Hibs? They just fell apart. Really, really poor. Hibs were absolutely outstanding on the day, it has to be said. But you would really expect them to actually go on and try and get at Hibs, but they didn't. They just didn't. Disappointing as well that the fact is that they just capitulated, really, really capitulated. And this is another one that is a really tough one for them because Aberdeen, obviously coming off the back of a 3-1 against Ross County. A tricky place to go to, McDermott Park, but at this moment in time, it doesn't seem to be a tricky place for opposition fans to go to and opposition teams to go to. So, yeah, unfortunately, St Johnstone fans, I just think that this is going to be another defeat for you guys, unfortunately. I think Aberdeen are going to win this one, and I think they'll win it. I think they'll win it by the same scoreline as they did at Ross County. I'm going for St Johnstone 1, Aberdeen 3. So we'll see what happens with that one. And as I've said, there is one extra game to preview, and it is St Mirren against Hibs. Jack Ross going back to St Mirren. Wow, who would have predicted that? Who would have predicted that? Second game of his managerial tenure as Hibs manager, and he's going back to the club where he got them promoted, and then obviously they left them for Sunderland. Now, obviously, from this game, you would have probably expected St Mirren to obviously lose to Ross County, so obviously it will be another defeat to St Mirren. And then obviously I would expect Hibs to beat Motherwell as well. So Hibs got a good record against St Mirren, has to be said. St Mirren actually haven't beaten Hibs for, I think it's since 2014, which is a long, long time ago. So Obviously, Hibs have got a really good record at the St Mirren Stadium, and I expect that to continue. I think Hibs will win this one pretty comfortably. It'll be a good Jack Ross going back to St Mirren and haunting his former club. I'm going for St Mirren 0, Hibernian 2. So that will be that as far as match week 14 goes. So I'll go through my predictions very, very quickly again as follows. So it's Celtic 2, Livingston 0, Hibernian 2, Motherwell 1, Kilmarnock 1, Hearts 2, Hamilton 0, Rangers 5, St Johnstone 1, Aberdeen 3, and St Mirren 0, Hibernian 2. So that is it. That is my match week 14 predictions. If you want to join in and play along, then absolutely fine. And get your comments in this comment section below. Get your predictions in. And yeah, good luck to your teams. We'll see what happens. Good luck to Livingston. Obviously, I don't see them getting anything from Celtic Park, but stranger things have happened. Obviously, getting a 0-0 last season. We'll see what happens. Anyway, if you do like my content, then hit that subscribe button, smash a like, leave a comment. That'd be absolutely fantastic. And we'll be back very, very soon with some more videos. Good luck to your teams, and we'll see what happens this week. Anyway, take care, everyone. Bye-bye for now.